Andy Dennison. Ben Vitale.
Present.
Grant Kyle. Paul Pink is excused. Aileen McNabb Coleman.
Here.
Joe DeForest. Terry Baxter is excused. Joe Bennett.
Here.
Frank Reginelli.
Here.
Patrick Mahonic.
Here.
Timothy Lattimore.
Here.
Michael Didio.
Here.
Ryan Foley.
Present.
Keith Batman.
Present. So let's rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, the purpose of tonight's meeting is to approve the preliminary budget to go forward for a public hearing on November 28th. That will be in conjunction with our regular November meeting. The process we'd like to use is that we can first consider the changes that Ways and Means made, and then we'll follow that with any additional changes, modifications that anyone may have. So if we may start with someone can make a motion to approve the changes as reported out from Ways and Means.
Second.
Mr. DeForest, Mr. Mahonic, are there any discussion on those changes? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, good. Now, I have the one change I'd like to propose, and then I'm sure there will be other discussion. The WQMA, Water Quality Management Agency, got a grant to develop a website, to do some branding and so on. Part of that process is, I just said, is to development of a website. The initial thought was that IT might be able to do that, but in further discussion, that's not going to be the case. So they need not a lot of money, but $840 in the planning budget. The planning budget is very tight this year, as is everyone's budget. So if someone would move to increase the A87404-54059 from $42,000 to $42,840, that's WQMA line. So it's an increase of $840 for the purpose of the updating and developing a website. That money would come from fund balance.
Sorry.
Is there any?
Are these on?
Oh, I thought they were. My light's on. Am I just mumbling, maybe? Is that better?
No, they're not.
Oh, wait, they're not on.
No, because when you press the button.
Hello.
They are on.
Somebody messed with these.
Ours are.
Yeah,
Paralyzed.
Nope,
His is.
they're on here. Oh, there we go.
there's Frank's on. Okay, there we go. Okay, so do I need to repeat that? Was that mumbled? Okay, so the WQMA got a grant to do some branding, do a public information campaign. They got a grant to do that. Part of that process was developing a website. The initial plan was to engage IT in that process. After discussion, the decision was made to not have IT do it for a variety of reasons, not the least of which is IT workload. And so they've investigated. They need $840 for the purpose of developing the website. So we had a motion and a second. Is there any discussion, any questions? Okay, and this money would come from fund balance. So on, Brian.
Mr. Chairman, is that an, I was here for that discussion, so I feel like I'm in support. I just wanted to make a clarification. WQMA is not a county department.
It has a line in the planning department budget.
In the planning.
Right, yeah. But they're not a department, they're a multi-agency
Right.
thing. They are an arm, well, yes. So, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
Keith, can you give me that account number again? Thank you.
Okay, are there any other additions, deletions, or questions about the budget? This is the budget. We're not approving a budget, of course. What we're doing is sending a budget forward as the preliminary budget to a hearing, a public hearing on November 28th. Mr. Mahunik.
In light of the conversation that we had at Health and Human Services about the Office of the Aging, I would propose increasing line A67724-54061 by $2,000, so the total would be $2,700 for advertising for our Medicaid, Medicare services, to look at that. I would like that money to come from the $5,000 that was set aside from the arts, but I don't know what line that is and I can't seem to find it, so if anybody has that. I think we need to take care of our senior citizens.
Second.
Okay, discussion? Mr. Lattimore.
I don't disagree with legislator Mahonik in regards to adding for the Office of the Aged, but I think your suggestion about the arts is a good one, Chairman, and I would support keeping that at 5,000.
I believe the arts line was something that we could always go back to. If the project came in, we could always draw from the general fund or contingency or somewhere if there was a project that we needed to fund. This just, it keeps the numbers even and going forward.
That account is on page 3 if you're looking for it, right at the top there, A10104-54074, department expense.
Okay.
Okay, any other discussion? Ms. Foley.
Just so I understand the arts that you proposed, was that supposed to be administered by the new administrator coming in, or what was your?
Yes. Okay, any other discussion?
Roll call, please.
Okay, could we get a roll call on this?
This is for ledge 1, correct? Or for the motions?
For the amendment of $2,000 to, if you could repeat, to go
Line?
to... Yeah, you don't have to do the line, I think they got that, but the purpose of the money?
No.
It would be to put $2,000 into the advertising line for the Office of the Aging. We had, Brenda Wyman shared with us some documentation of insurance companies that are targeting, but not really sharing what their intent is, and kind of passing themselves off as not-for-profits or government agencies. So this would be to advertise the seminars and resources we currently offer here.
Okay, and she felt she needed the
Yep.
additional revenue? Okay.
How's that? Okay, Tucker Whitman?
Yes.
Oh, wait, sorry. Andy?
But in his amendment, is it being moved, this where's the $2,000 going to come?
From the money that was in the budget for the arts and culture
Okay.
programs.
So does that need to be in his amendment?
It is, yeah.
How's that? Okay, Tucker Whitman?
Still yes.
Andy Dennison?
Yes.
Ben Vitale?
Yes.
Grant Kyle?
No.
Paul Pickney?
Yes.
Eileen McNabb Coleman?
Yes.
Joe DeForest?
Yes.
Terry Baxter's excused. Joseph Bennett?
Yes.
Frank Reginelli?
Yes.
Patrick Mahonik?
Yes.
Timothy Lattimore?
With the caveat, yes, that we can increase that fine arts line if we need to.
Michael Didio?
Yes.
Ryan Foley?
Yes.
Keith Batman?
Yeah, I'll have to vote no.
Passed.
Okay, thank you. Any other? Mr. Bennett?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Lynn, I'm going to need your help on this a little bit too, please, but it's the purchase of Northwood's solution. They're going to at Health and Human Services. Ray has already brought up that Northwoods is a fine entity that would benefit both our employees and and his clients and stuff, and make their life a little easier possibly with the service. So I'd like to take and, let's see here, increase expenditure account number A60102-52100 equipment to 423, and increase the revenue account A607004367 for services to recipients 262,000. The total share for the county would be $161,000, because we only have to pick up a small percentage, which is approximately about $53,000 per year, because we can split it up over a 2 or 3 year period.
Okay, so the motion,
And that would be a draw from the fund balance.
okay, the motion is to increase the fund balance and draw for $161,000? Is that accurate?
Lynn, is that correct?
Yes.
Can we get a
Thank you.
page number when we do this? It makes it easier.
Yeah, if you go to page 183, the expenditure account is
183.
183. And the revenue account is on page 187. Increasing expenses, increasing revenue.
Okay. Is there, Mr. Bennett, do you have a proposal for where the additional money for the cost for IT will come?
I
Or
believe the cost is included in this.
was my understanding that there would be additional IT for servers and maybe for software support? There certainly is additional money from servers, and I thought that there might be additional money for software support that hadn't been determined yet. So what do we do with that? Just leave it for now?
Lynn, is there any account, do you know if there's any,
There's $50,000 included in that for servers. So
Okay.
not anything to pay the IT department more money. No.
For support.
Right.
Okay, so we have a motion, discussion?
I'll second it.
Oh, sorry. A discussion on this? Mr. Vitale?
I'll start. In the committee, I discussed the issue that unless we have IT on board and make sure that we can support this program and all the things that IT will have to do, I'm leery of saying yes to this. I think this is more of an issue that would be best served by a new administrator taking a looking at it and working with both IT and mental health, or I'm sorry, DSS, to make sure that we have a plan to make it successful. I don't think anybody in the committee thought that the software was not good or wouldn't be beneficial. My issue at this point in time is that I don't know if we have a complete enough plan to move it forward, and I would like to suggest that we leave this to the new administrator and reassure people that there is enough money in the contingency account, and we can always go to the fund balance with a 2/3 majority vote. So again, I'm saying it's not an issue of the software not being good. I think it's an issue of making sure we have a plan and everybody's on board with moving forward.
Thank you. Mr. Whitman?
Just in case the new administrator thinks it's a good idea, I think we should budget for it, and it'll be there ready and waiting. If we don't use it, we don't use it. But it's easier than mid-year trying to move that much money around. I know we don't like to. And in the spirit of having a plan, I think it would be a good idea.
Ms. Cohen?
I like what you had to say there about having a plan for the future. I do see IT as the nucleus here. We really need to be sure they're ready. I know there's some pending software upgrades going to be occurring, I think, in real property. And also, I think there's also some upgrades pending for WIC, as far as that I had just heard about recently. So let's make sure that I know IT is lacking, and we want to help beef them up. So I really think we need to strengthen that program before we add on more responsibilities and more needs for the county onto their backs. So I see them as a nucleus, and I'm okay with having a plan. I think the program would be suitable and is necessary, but I don't think I think we need to carefully lay the groundwork here.
Ms. Foley?
Just a quick question for, I guess, Tucker. Does he imagine these funds as being at the discretion of the administrator to be used? And so it's a line that can only be used by the administrator? Or are they just placed in a budget? I mean, I guess that would be are they placed in Ray's budget because then he can spend them at will? I guess that, I want clarification.
If it's a contract for a service that we're purchasing, I think it would go through us. We would approve the contract and the expenditure of the funds, right?
But he wouldn't be able to move that forward without the administrator's consent? Is that how you envision it?
Without this body's consent, is how I would envision it.
Yeah, I guess I don't understand then if you could clarify, because I thought you were saying that it's appropriate to have the administrator the involved in this, making the recommendations to us. And then you seem now to be saying, no, that's not the case.
Mr.
So what's the
Vitale had
intent?
brought up that, this would be a good thing for the new administrator to look into to, get their opinion on it. If their opinion is to go ahead with it and it's a good idea, then to have the funds there, and we think it's a good idea, if that were the case, then we could just hit the ground running.
The intent, not part of the motion, I understand that, but the intent then is that we would take the recommendation of the new administrator on moving forward on this.
I hope we take a lot of recommendations from the new administrator.
Okay, I see. So what's that make the fund balance, the draw on the fund balance? Not to put you on the spot,
All right.
but.
I have to do it in my head, so. It would be $743,592 with that.
So that puts the draw on the fund balance just shy of $750,000. Okay. So if I understand the intent, if the suggestion is that that's a lot of money, this looks like a good program, but we need to investigate it a little more, give the permission, not permission, but charge the administrator working with social services, IT, the other needs that are coming up associated with software and other things. Would it make more sense to put this or a part of this in contingency so the money's available? Mr. Vitale?
I wanted to say that before you said it, but I guess at this point in time, I'll make a motion to make an amendment to put it in the contingency account, and then that way I can actually vote for it and support it.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. To put the full amount or
Yeah.
a partial? Okay. Okay, so we have an amendment to go contingency. And Mr. DeForest?
The only concern that I do have in moving forward with this is, realistically, we all should know that there's going to be additional costs in implementing this. So I really do hope that as a body, we can take the administrator's nod on how we proceed with this, because buying the program before we're ready to really implement it and support it isn't productive at all.
Ms. Mahoney?
So I think putting this money in contingency sends a terrible message to our new administrator to basically say, if you do support this, and to our department head, if you support this, we're still going to have to go back and get a 2/3 vote from the legislature. We hear all year about new positions and new programs, and we always say, wait for the budget, put it in the budget. Here's an opportunity to put it in the budget, give it a line item. Again, we can't, no contract can be executed without our vote and our support. So to put an extra layer or hurdle in front of this, to me, is just ridiculous, so I won't support the amendment.
Okay. Anyone else want to speak to the amendment? Okay, well, let's vote on the amendment then. The amendment is to put the funding in the contingency account to give the administrator then the opportunity to work through the implementation with IT, with the department, and with other people that may be affected.
Okay, roll
Wait,
call
Mr.
vote,
Bennett
please.
had, okay, roll call vote. So voting on the amendment.
Tucker Whitman,
No.
Andy Dennison,
No.
Ben Vitale,
Yes.
Grant Kyle,
Yes.
Paul Pickney.
No.
Hope you all set? Yep. Aileen McNabb Coleman,
Yes.
Joseph DeForest,
Yes.
Terry Baxter is excused, Joseph Bennett,
No.
Frank Reginelli,
Yes.
Patrick Mahonik,
No.
Timothy Lattimore,
No.
Michael Didio,
No.
Brian Foley,
No.
Keith Batman.
Yes.
Defeated.
So are we ready to vote on the full motion, or is there more discussion? Okay, does anyone want this roll call, or just show of hands?
Roll call.
Roll call.
Just, no, click there and slide down. Turn this around now. And then just hit release. Okay. Okay, the original. Okay, original. Motion. Okay, all set?
Yeah.
Tucker Whitman,
Yes.
Andy Dennison,
No.
Ben Vitale,
No.
Grant Kyle,
No.
Paul Pickney,
Yes.
Aileen McNabb Coleman,
No.
Joseph DeForest, Terry Baxter is excused, Joseph Bennett,
Yes.
Frank Reginelli,
No.
Patrick Mahonik,
Yes.
Timothy Lattimore,
Yes.
Michael Didio,
Yes.
Ryan Foley,
Yes.
Keith Batman.
No.
Defeated.
Okay, are there other suggestions, amendments? Mr. Pinckney?
Mr. Chairman, after Ways and Means, there was some discussion on the CAPUSA dollars. I was wondering if Fred or where we went with that to see if that line item on the remaining balance of this year's gets put into somewhere, and the remaining balance of the 25 is coming out of fund balance. Thought that was supposed to be looked upon.
What, I thought we were going to get a proposed use of the funds.
The proposed use of the funds that I told you that night it's basically the same as it was last year. It's for Springport and for our attorneys' fees that possibly may come up this year. Those are the two things. And
Okay.
another project that we're working on. That's the only plan there is.
Okay,
I
can you
told
tell us what the other project is, or is it?
It's a possibility of a plan with New Visions or in Syracuse.
Okay, my understanding is Lynn's looked into it, and my understanding is we can, I don't know what you call it, encumber, I guess. It's not a really encumbrance, but it kind of is.
There's $24,897 in the account right now for the 17 budget. I believe CAPUSA can voucher the funds, and it will be set into another fund. The CM fund is where the other money is sitting. You had $2,300 extra remaining, and it will sit there until your board votes on certain expenditures that you have during the year to spend it, and then sit in the treasurer's account.
So
So you
is-
would pull down almost 25,000, so I don't know if you even need to budget it then in 18.
Right. So is 24.8 good?
Yeah.
You- So
It was
then-
on discussion that it was possibly a better way of doing it. That's the only reason
Yeah. So I guess that doesn't hit the budget, and it still provides the money.
So does it remain a line
Okay.
item, budget number for Capusa then?
It,
Well,
no,
no,
it's an
it's
account.
budgeted zero for 18, it's budgeted at zero. So you will pull the 17 money down that's already budgeted and have it sitting in a separate account to spend next year.
Okay.
It won't show in this operating budget, it sits in a separate fund.
Right. It's not quite an encumbrance, I guess, but kind of. Well, it's not an encumbrance. I don't know what you call it. It's not an encumbrance. But you've got the, yeah, yes.
It just doesn't go back into the.
That's
No,
correct.
the agency will
Right.
vouch for the funds and have to decide.
Okay. Ms. Westfall has a question.
Lynn, is there a date before which the voucher needs to be submitted to make sure, because if it occurs
Yeah,
after
before the
certain...
end of the year.
Okay.
So the agency will make sure it's vouchered.
Thank you.
You have some input here.
I just wanted to clarify for the chairman that there's an existing contract out right now for $1,600 for website development for the Capusa website. So the number that you gave, Lynn, will be $1,600 less. And then, Mr. Chairman, of Capusa, Mr. Chairman, there was $2,500 also.
Right. Not to be a stickler, but you should, our rules say address the chair. So I know it's a technical thing, but I'm a bureaucrat. What can I say?
So there's the $1,600 that is in the contract, and then there's another $2,500 in the contract. So it's more, it's closer to 21 is basically what I'm saying.
Right.
That's not enough.
But whatever's there is what I'm trying to say, you can voucher even if that invoice doesn't come in.
I just wanted to have the chair and the body understand that it's more like 21.
Well, yeah, so, go ahead, Tom.
So the paper I circulated that night showed the balance at $20,874 after these two expenditures. So my request was for that money to be put somewhere along with the balance of that equaling $25,000.
But
Still
there's-
being able to get to.
But there's already $2,000 in that account now, correct, Lynn, from last year?
About $2,300.
Right. So okay, so you you guys have spent almost nothing in the last 10 years.
Well,
you-
we haven't had a lot to spend
Right.
there, sir.
And that's the thing. You can't get by with 21,000, if it's 21, whatever it is, as an amount, so that it doesn't hit this year's budget. And then if you need
Yeah,
more.
we have to come
I mean,
back later- at a later
Right.
date.
The 25 is an arbitrary amount, as I remember anyway.
That's fine.
And you're going to have, I'll tell you, you're going to have $80,000 for some of this, because
And
the rates and the rules money with some of that will hit that. I'm just quite, don't you think?
We don't know that for sure.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Right.
I hope so.
I suspect it will.
I don't want to budget that money for something else.
Right. No,
So,
I totally agree.
We went through that
Right.
entertainment for that. So
So we're good with that, though?
we're good, Chairman.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you. So are there other issues? Mr. Lattimore?
Well, I think one of the projects that you said, is there any other projects? I think that there was New Visions that the chairman, this chairman had mentioned. We have invited Mr. Bianchi and New Visions to our next meeting so he can explain the 20 million or whatever funding he got from the state to put in fiber.
Yeah, I haven't heard that. And what meeting have you invited him to?
I thought Aileen was working to invite him, and so that everybody's aware of what's.
Okay, Mr. Pinckney?
I requested that he come in for the Ways and Means for a briefing on the 21st, because he's going to be here in the afternoon for a later, we changed the Capusa meeting to later in the day, so he would be here for both to show the maps and just make a brief discussion on that.
Okay.
That's what I had requested.
Well, why would we not, we have 3 new legislators, January 1st. We have a new county administrator, hopefully December something. Why would we not have him come? Because I think it's a good idea, but why would we not have him come when the body, as will exist with the administrative structure, as will exist to hear it instead of having to either bring him back or having to explain secondhand. Well, let's do this. Let's not hash this out now. If we can do this, I know I have not spoken with him. I don't know. Have you spoken with him?
No.
Why don't we reach out to him and set something up? Because yeah, it would be great for the.
I think some of the project is time sensitive, and the sooner the better. I mean,
Okay. Well,
I've sat in these chairs for a long time now, and
Right.
things move very slowly through this body.
Well, I don't think there's any decision we have to make now, is there? But
Just
in any event,
to
let's not talk
invite
about it now.
Just to
Because
invite
it's a good idea. Can you provide some contact information? I've asked for this before and haven't gotten it. But do you have contact information for him that you can share with me or with Ms. McNabb Coleman?
Sure.
Okay, great. Thanks. Mr. Bennett?
Yes, on that note, and that we're talking about, why don't we just send an invitation to the newly elected officials and say, hey, we're going to have an informational session here, whatever day it is, and have them, invite them into it. Then we
Right.
don't have to worry about them being.
Right. That's an alternative, assuming they can come. But, yeah. So, yeah, we'll explore all of this. We'll find out from them how time-sensitive they are and then take it forward. Okay. So are there any other issues on the budget?
There's a couple questions. Some of the largest increases I've seen have been in professional services, different departments, like civil service, human resource on page 23, and then page 162 under mental health. I'm just curious, there's, the 157% increases in 700. I'm just curious what it's going for. I'm not familiar with those two. I give the lines, but it seems like there's just some really large increases. I'm sure there's an explanation. I'm just looking to see.
Yeah, in general, but we can ask we'll ask the thing. In general, we've outsourced the additional
an
stuff.
outsourcing
But
increase.
I'm going to confirm. Lynn, do you know offhand, or I think
Well,
Ray?
professional services, we moved, I think, when we budgeted the EAP program, so.
Yeah, that's for
on page
HR.
23, you see a decrease, a corresponding decrease in that account 54074 department expense. We just moved that one.
You just moved a different line.
Yeah, that was that one. And the other one you're saying is on page 162.
Yeah, 843-104, 54059. Fifth up from the bottom.
Yeah, that's where you had to contract staff out.
So it's just a,
Mental health, you're
So
out.
it's a changing
Psychiatrist is a contract position now, so you move from salary to.
Yeah, thank you. I'd forgotten that. Thanks. Okay, any other questions? Ms. Foley?
Before we end for the night, for this, I just want to bring this to actually your attention and the body's attention. So for the arts and cultural budget, I've already received a request. I plan on speaking with the new administrator when they come into office. But this is from Stephanie DeVito of Auburn Downtown Bid. She approached me. She heard that we would have a budget. A couple years ago, she approached us for flower pots, self-watering flower pots for the county section.
Right.
And at that time, we weren't able to provide any funds for that. But that's an idea, I think, to stay
Okay.
within your plan, and
Well,
I wanted to bring
well,
it to
yeah, and that will be for the new administrator.
Right,
And ask her and other people to cut this guy some slack. Give him, give him a month. You know. Mr. Lattimore.
Mr. Chairman, we had a program funded for the YMCA in regards to senior citizens swimming, and one of the most conservative guys on this board in a long time was even in favor of it back in the day, but we told them why to try to replace that with maybe Emerson money or some other foundation money. I wouldn't want to see that program.
That program has been taken over by them, but again, that's...
By the Emersons?
But, well, the Y is operating the program. I don't know how it's funded, but the Y is operating it. But this is a good example of something that would be good to, when the new administrator is to have a conversation with him. And to be clear, that was not for senior citizens per se. It was a special program for developmentally disabled, yeah. So, but yeah, that program is underway.
It's a great program, and I just
Right.
hope that
It is continuing.
community funded.
Okay, are we ready to, Mr. Bennett?
Yes, there was discussion, I'm not sure if it made a line item, and, excuse me for my lack of knowledge of the book at times, but there is a possible pay increase or salary increase for non-contractual employees, or so, did that make a line item somewhere in there, do you know?
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. That was on my list, and that's an important thing. The plan is for a 1.9%, which is the union percentage for all all non-bargaining as well as electeds. The non-bargaining will be part of the budget. The electeds will have to be done as a separate resolution. Even after the budget is passed. That's a resolution that's done in December, unless I'm mistaken. Right?
It's going to be done by local law.
Right, yeah. So that will be coming forward, and we'll have a debate on whether or not to, for electeds, whether or not to include that 1.9%. But there is money for the non-bargaining group of 1.9%, which is what we gave to our unions. Thank you. Okay, are we ready to vote on the budget? Now, this vote makes this tentative budget the preliminary budget, which means it goes to public hearing on November 28th. That's what the vote is. It's not approval of it per se, but rather to take it forward to a public hearing. Do we need a roll call vote for this?
Yes.
Okay. So if I could have a motion
Move it.
and a second? Thank you.
DeForest. I'll second. Tucker Whitman?
No.
Andy Dennison?
No.
Ben Vitale?
Yes.
Grant Kyle?
Yes.
Paul Pickney?
Yes.
Aileen McNabb Coleman?
Yes.
Joe DeForest?
Yes.
Terry Baxter's excused. Joseph Bennett?
No.
Frank Reginelli?
Yes.
Patrick Mahonik?
Yes.
Timothy Lattimore?
Yes.
Michael Didio?
Yes.
Brian Foley?
Yes.
Keith Batman?
Yes.
Passed.
Okay, thank you. So the next step in the budget process is the public hearing on November 28th, and then we will move forward. So at this point, I need a motion for executive session regarding pending litigation. If I could have such a motion. Motion, Mr. DeForest, a second. From a couple people. So, okay, all in favor? Okay, so we're in executive session.
Sheriff, stay as well.
Yes, Sheriff? Would you stay? Thank you.